I know it's been a few weeks that I've been on here. I've been working on some other things. Hello. Welcome. I'm Julia. I don't have my tea today. I have my electrolyte water because I forgot my tea, but I do have my notes. And I wrote this a few days ago. Today's Wednesday that I'm recording this. I wrote this on Saturday because it was something that happened on Saturday and I was reflecting about. But I come on here, reading with my tea. I read my journal entries and the things that I reflect on myself. And not so much journal entries as in like, I ate this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. I talk about the things that I learn and the patterns that I recognize, the things that I reflect on for myself that really teach me about something and heal something within me. So I hope they are healing in some aspect to whoever's watching this. Or if you're just here because you're interested watching something, hello, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. So again, this happened on Saturday and I was leaving Market Basket with my dad. We go grocery shopping together and I like to help him with the things. I don't really like him. Like he's gotten to that age where like I would rather go with him to the grocery store to like get like his soda cans and stuff like that, and his water bottles, his orange juice, his milk and stuff like that are heavier. So I can help him with those. But we were in the car, we had just packed up the car with the groceries and we were leaving, but he was sitting next to me in the passenger seat and he was like, well, do you have any more work to do for the day? It was Saturday and I usually work like every single day, but he was asking me if I had anything else to do that day. And I was like, it was a day that I wanted to take off and it was a beautiful day. So I told him I was sitting outside with the dogs. I was reading, they were sitting in the shade and we were just enjoying the day. So I then felt like the urge to like show him the pictures that I took of the dogs when they were outside. I don't usually show him a lot of things on my phone and I don't really tell him a lot about my personal life. Even though like I see him a couple times a week, I really keep it pretty vague and I just say that things are good, things are going good and stuff like that. I don't really talk to him a lot because he talks a lot about the same things over and over again, which is okay. I know he likes to talk, but it's usually that happens. So I don't really tell him a lot about my personal life. But that day, I felt like sharing the pictures with him. And I did. I showed him them on my phone. I just passed my phone to him. And he's also learning how to use an iPhone. So he was scrolling through the pictures. Well, I scrolled through the first couple pictures and then he was like, whoa, like that's how you do that. So he kept going. He went past like the 10 pictures of the dogs and he got into the pictures of my jewelry. The professional pictures that I take, I edit them. I send them to my phone to like go on social media and stuff like that. So I had them on my phone and he was looking at it. I didn't know he was looking at it, and he passed my phone back to me. He was like, your jewelry looks great. And that in the moment, like I also don't really show a lot of like emotion with my dad. I think that is just like years of just feeling not understood and not accepted. So in the moment, I was like really shocked. But inside I was like, oh my gosh, because I don't tell him a lot. And the reason I don't tell him a lot is because he hasn't been very, very receptive to the design work that I do. Even when I was in college, I have a degree in fashion design. And even when I told him that, he told me I wasn't going to do anything with my life. So I was like, okay. I just didn't really tell him anything about my life in that aspect. Like we'll talk about sports, we'll talk about like movies, stuff like that, movies that I like, things that I eat, but I don't really tell him about the jewelry that I make. So him seeing that was almost validation, but it was also recognition for me that I can tell him more, that I have been so afraid of not being understood that I didn't give him a chance to understand me. And I have been so afraid of his reaction, I haven't given him the chance to even react. So I've just shut him out of a lot of parts of my life, a lot of pieces of my life, because I've just been so afraid of his reaction. But that, again, it was like something subconscious. It was just something that I went through my day. It was a way that I reacted to him. It was a way that I talked to him. And it was like, even in my tone, it was the way I expressed myself with him. And just like sort of making myself smaller. subconsciously, like that was just the way I acted around him and the way that I have been for so many years. But I think him complimenting my jewelry sort of opened up that door that like now I don't really have to do that anymore. I can express to him and I can share things with him, you know, however I feel comfortable, when I feel comfortable, because I also don't, you know, I've learned from over the years that not everybody you share will be supporting of you. Not everybody you share with will be supporting of you. That's what I meant to say. So I have become very, very discerning, you know, understandably about, which I think we can do that. We can like learn things from our situations with people and figure out, okay, this person reacted that way. This person doesn't really care or value me. I don't really want to share things with them. And, you know, this person really does care. So I'm going to share more with them, and, or I'm going to share only certain parts of my life with this person. And, you know, the other parts I'm going to like be very selective about, which is, you know, it's honestly a very exhausting way to live. Ooh, excuse me. It can be very exhausting, having to calculate all of those situations on all of those relations. But I think that's another topic for another day. But, you know, with him, I had just learned how to keep myself smaller, and I'd been so used to, I have it in my notes here, like so used to like being isolated, but I was missing out on that part. I was being so discerning and calculating with the people in my life that I was missing out on like genuine interactions, genuine connections, because I was so terrified of their reaction. And even though I was comfortable with myself, I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I wasn't accepted. I would rather just stick to myself and be isolated and, you know, just to love myself and to accept myself and to like do something on my own rather than like put myself into the situation of maybe not being understood or maybe not, you know, someone not being as excited as I was about something. So again, I had just learned to be by myself, but I think, you know, all this situation with my dad has made me realize that there's only a certain amount of time that you can like keep all of that inside of you. There comes a time where you need to express yourself and you need to share your ideas, your creative energy, the things that you've made, the things that you've done with other people in some form. It could just be on like a social media platform. It could be, you know, telling your friends about like, hey, this is the project that I've done. This is something that I've made. I really want you guys to be in this part of my life. It could be something like that. But yeah, we don't need to keep isolated and to keep things to ourselves all the time. And I know that we can also get, you know, really stuck and not like stuck, but like really focused on what we're making and what we're doing, that we don't really think about celebrating ourselves. And I think that makes me think of the Eight of Pentacles in the tarot, which is in the Rider-Waite tarot. It is like 6 pentacles, 6 things that this person has created. They're like up on a tree post, and the dude is sitting on a little bench next to the tree, and he is just like hammering out, you know, what he's making. And they're just like perfect replica after perfect replica. So he's basically perfected his craft, but he's been like so focused on that. And I think that relates to this. What I'm thinking of is because, you know, we can get so focused on what we're doing, but we don't really see anything else going around us. We don't think to celebrate ourselves, that we have perfected what we've done. We have learned so much, and, you know, we have so much information. We have so much knowledge, but we're not doing anything with that knowledge. We're not sharing that knowledge. We are not getting the recognition we deserve. So, you know, I come on here to say that there comes a time where you need to let people love you, and you need to let people appreciate you and respect you and recognize you for who you are, the things that you create, the talents that you have, and, you know, the natural gifts that you have and the things that you can create. Because especially if that is something that you feel like called to do, you feel like you really want to share that on a grand scale, whatever it is. It could even just be like in your town, in your state, whatever. But if you really feel like expressing yourself, you should be expressing yourself. And you should be putting that out, you know, even if it is just like an Instagram account that you just have like a few friends that they follow and stuff like that. Or maybe it is a full-blown business that you want to create. Maybe it is like something like you want to be on like a billboard in Times Square. It could be that grand. But whatever, you know, level you feel comfortable with, I really feel like you should go towards that, because I've said this in other videos that you are doing yourself a disservice for not expressing yourself the way that feels authentic to you. And also, like, if you have like a burning passion to do something and you're not doing that, you are just doing yourself a disservice. You are doing a disservice to the people who are looking for somebody like you, that really want to support you, and, you know, that are going to love your personality, that are going to love the things that you create, they're going to love your art. You are doing them a disservice by not putting yourself out there, because they should be, you know, they should be discovering you. They should be appreciating you, and you should be discovered and recognized for what you're doing. And, you know, all of those kind of amazing things, especially if that is something that you are drawn towards, and that, like, subconsciously you kind of feel like you are holding yourself back from. Because I think when my dad, again, in this situation that happened the other day, in the parking lot, was that when he said my work was great, there was like a part of me that sort of was healed, that was like unlocked, a door was unlocked. And then I realized, like, okay, like, I can really be expressing myself. I can be showing my family, my friends, like, these things that I make. I don't need to keep holding them in within me. I can share them. Like, now, again, I have been perfecting my craft for so many years. And I have just been learning. I have been, you know, studying and gaining knowledge. Now I need to be putting that knowledge to the test. And I need to be expressing myself. I need to be putting myself out there. And I have all of this knowledge, like this life experience, all of these things that I have been reflecting on for years and years. Like, I've always sort of wanted to do this kind of thing. I can't do anything more. It isn't going to be any more beneficial keeping that stuff inside. I need to be expressing that in some way. And I hope, you know, if you have something like that, you have something to share, you need to be putting it out there, because you're going to be, you know, that energy is going to stay inside of you. It's going to stay stuck energy, and you need to be putting that energy out there. And the more you put it out there, you're going to meet the right people, because at first it can be really scary to put yourself out there and to not be accepted, or to think that you're not going to be accepted. But the right people are going to find you. The right people are going to value you. And another aspect of my reflection is that you can teach people what you do. You can teach them about your techniques, the things that you really care about, and be like, hey, this is a paintbrush I love. This is the size I use for my paintings. This is a color palette that I'm using and the brand of paint. But you don't need to teach them what your value is. If they don't see value in what you're creating, in the song that you've made, in the bike that you've built, whatever it is, if they don't see value in that, they're not the right people for you. So, you know, there's teaching what you're doing versus teaching your worth. And you shouldn't have to teach people your worth. It should be, you know, just for the right people, it's going to be recognized without words, without, like, they're just going to feel it. They're just going to recognize it. So that isn't something you're going to have to teach people. And I think that is something that I've always been scared of. Like, the reason why I don't think I have expressed a lot of myself, at least like to my loved ones and to the people close to me, is that I don't want to not be valued. Like, excuse me. Like, it's something that I really, really deeply care about, and it's something that I love. So it's like, okay, if I can keep this to myself and I can keep, you know, isolated, and if I can just focus on this by myself, then no one is gonna, like, no one will make fun of me, because they're not gonna know about it. So if I just keep this to myself, nobody is gonna hate on it. And again, that is like doing a disservice to myself, which is something that I've had to recognize and know. And again, it was something that I didn't realize I was holding myself back from, especially with my dad. Like, now I feel more confident to be like, this is my website. These are the things that I make. This is, you know, I've designed my website. I've taken all these pictures. I have written all of these, like, what are they? Oh, the copywriting part. I've done all of that myself. I've taken these pictures. I have, you know, I've figured out this color palette. I've made these pieces myself. So all of that is something that I feel that I'm now like more comfortable to talk about. And it's not like looking for validation. I feel like it is a different feeling. It's not wanting somebody to like it so bad. It's being like afraid that they don't value it in a certain way, because I value it. And you know, it's that disappointment of loving something so much in someone that you love not loving it like you do. So it's sort of been that kind of thing. Like, I don't really, you know, if they don't like it, it's going to be sad, but it's not, at this point, it's not going to stop me from doing what I do. It would just make me more discerning and, you know, like, unfortunately not have to share those sorts of things. But in order to, you know, build that connection, in order to learn if that is something that I can be expressing and it is something that is going to be appreciated, I need to first take that step and to actually express myself and to share those things. Like even in this case with my dad, I need to share those things with him. I need to, you know, show him more of what I've done, because there also have been times in the past. Also, I think this is like also more of a fear that there are some bases to go off of. But if I really think, there have been times where I have shown him things, and he's been really supportive of it. So, you know, it can be really a fear for us, but if we really, really think back to it, there have been times where it isn't all that bad. It isn't all that negative, and it isn't all that difficult. It can just be like those little times where things were really, really difficult that stick with us the most. Even if they aren't that often or that common, it can really hold us back from even, you know, going forward. So, yeah, but again, there comes a time where all that information we've gained, everything that we've done, needs to be shared. It needs to be released, and it needs to be given, you know, passed on to somebody else for them to do with. Like if we're making something and somebody is inspired by what we've done, what we've said, what we've written, they are going to interpret that in their own way, and they can, you know, make a piece of art that is maybe in a completely different medium that makes sense to them. So, yeah, so I think just sharing is that first step. Whatever comes after that is, you know, sort of out of our hands again, which can be scary that we don't have control over that, how it's going to be received. But just think that it is going to reach the right people. It is going to affect the right people that it's supposed to. And, you know, just keep sharing, just keep being consistent with that, because you're going to see that recognition, especially if that's something that you're passionate about. If you want to, like, get into a certain art show, you are going to receive that recognition and that praise in, you know, the right way for you. So, yeah, and you're going to, again, find those right people. And the right people are going to want to learn more about you. They're going to want to, you know, get to know you, even if it is outside of what you do. They might just like you as a person. They might want to, like, sort of pick your brain and, you know, just to learn more about you. That could be one of those things, but the right people are going to value you. It's not going to be a question or whether or not they value you. You can teach them more about your technique and your thought process, but that's just going to draw them in even more into who you are. So let them ask those questions. Let them get to know you. Let yourself be admired and appreciated and loved for who you are and for your gifts, for what you offer to the world. Because again, with that 8 of Pentacles that I was thinking about, we can be so focused and so, like, dead set on what we're doing and, you know, just going through the motions of getting our work done, that we can forget to celebrate ourselves. So you should be around people who are going to celebrate you. The right people are going to celebrate you and lift you up and really want to see you succeed. And, you know, you should let them come out of your isolation and let people love you. And I think that was a message for me, that I should be expressing myself more and, you know, not letting anything, I don't want to say go to waste, but like to keep anything inside of myself. So keep expressing yourself, how you feel authentic to you, and, you know, the right people are going to find you. Everything is going to, as long as you are doing your part, it is like the universe is going to match you with that, and it's going to meet you with that, and everything is going to work out. So that was that for today. And I will be back. Oh, this is just a little bit of outside of the video, a little bit of an update. So the past few weeks that I haven't been on here, I have been focusing on sort of rebranding a lot of parts of my, jewelry brand. I think it's because I haven't eaten yet today. I get gassy when I don't eat after a while. But yeah, I've been focusing on my jewelry brand. I've been rebranding, taking new pictures, being more focused on what I focus on in my jewelry, and, you know, focusing truly on healing, like I talk about on here, healing in any kind of form. It could be going back to my jewelry, wearing birthstones with like your cousins on them, your grandma, your mom, your parents on them, and really cherishing those relationships, which can be a part of healing. Really appreciating the people you've come from, the relationships that you do have, and knowing that they are part of your personality, knowing that they are part of your journey. They've made you who you are in some aspect. And yeah, I also have pieces for like self-confidence, building your self-confidence, pieces, you know, just all kinds of things in healing that I focus on. So I've been thinking about how to incorporate the two of them, this YouTube channel and my jewelry brand. And I have decided on, today's Monday that this is posting, there's also a video on my web, not a video, a blog. There's a video here and a blog on my website, which I will link below, that you can read. If you don't want to watch a full video, you can read more of what I have written in here. And it's not going to be exact word for word, which is like sometimes when I'm on here, just more comes out. And sometimes when I write, more comes out of my head. So, but it's the same idea. It's the same theme for the video. So if you don't want to watch the video, if you would rather read instead of listening or watching something, absolutely go ahead. I'm going to do like those two different types of formats. And again, it will be the same theme every single Monday, every week. And that will be up on my website. You can also look at my jewelry down there that I make. And yeah, the link is below. So that is what I've been focusing on the past few weeks, just being more focused and, you know, figuring out the best way to use my skills. Because I really do like coming on here and it's expressing the things that I focus on and the things that I reflect on. I feel like just the more and more I reflect, I notice more and more patterns. And I really like that about myself. I've accepted that about myself. And I, you know, it's something that I've focused on as my strength, is recognizing patterns and understanding people and just the way that we work. So yeah, it's allowed me to learn more. I hope it is more eye-opening for somebody else, and also to maybe see something in a different light, to maybe even understand like a friend, a parent more than you used to. So, you know, that is my goal here: more understanding, more authenticity, more acceptance. Because I feel like there can be a lot of that lacking, a lot of that connection lacking in the world. I think the more that we move to like AI and stuff like that, and also like just with a lot going on in the world, it can be very, you know, distancing and hateful at times. So that is what I come on here for. And today is Monday, so I will be back Monday. Absolutely read the blog down below if you would like to, if you feel called to. And I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.